Friends, let me ask you something. How many times have you said, "This month I'm definitely going to budget"? How many times did you download an app, start strong, feel organized and responsible, and then suddenly it all fell apart? I've been observing this for years. I've seen people grow their money, and I've seen people lose it all. The difference isn't just discipline like you think. The real difference is the system they use. Most budgeting methods aren't designed for real people. They're designed for robots. Write down every expense, categorize everything, check it every day. After a while, this gets exhausting. Honestly, it starts to feel like torture, and your brain can't handle that for long, so you quit. Over the years, I've had the chance to observe a lot of people. The successful ones weren't the ones tracking every single cent. They were the ones who treated their money like a business. They didn't check it every day, they just looked at it at certain intervals and made the right decisions. That's it. If you're thinking this works for others but not for me, you're actually not wrong. The problem isn't you. The problem is the method you were taught. Now think about it. Why do so many people start budgeting and then quit? Because they're always told the same thing. Track everything. Review constantly. That approach might work for a small group of people, those who enjoy numbers and details. But for most people, it becomes a heavy psychological burden over time. There was a study that showed something similar. The people who improved their finances the most weren't the ones obsessively tracking everything. They were the ones who checked in regularly, but in a moderate way. Too little attention leads to losing control. Too much leads to burnout. The sweet spot is knowing roughly where you stand without turning money management into a second job. There's also something people don't talk about much: shame. When people look at their spending, they see things they don't like. Unnecessary purchases, forgotten subscriptions, a lifestyle that quietly got more expensive. And when they see it, they feel uncomfortable. Sometimes very uncomfortable. Your brain starts saying, "Don't look at this." That's why so many people start with motivation and then completely stop. Because the more they look, the more they see things they don't want to see. And the easiest way out is to avoid it altogether. For a budgeting system to actually work long term, it has to respect these two realities. It needs to require minimal effort. And it needs to help you develop emotional neutrality toward your spending. You shouldn't feel judged by your money. You should feel like you're just looking at data. That's exactly what this system does. Friends, the core idea is very simple. Manage your personal finances like a business. Every successful business has a profit and loss statement. At the top, there's income. Below that, expenses. And at the bottom, profit. If a business has money left at the end of the month, it grows. If it consistently spends more than it earns, sooner or later it collapses. This table forces you to see reality and stops you from ignoring your mistakes. Your personal finances work exactly the same way. Money comes in, money goes out. The difference between those two determines whether you're building wealth or digging a hole. The problem is, most people don't actually know what their personal profit and loss looks like. They have a rough idea of what they earn, a vague sense of their big expenses. But the full picture, total income, total expenses, the real net result, stays blurry. This system makes that clear with minimal effort. So how does it work in practice? Once a month, not every day, not every week, just once a month, you take a simple snapshot of your finances. The first time takes about 30 minutes. After that, it gets faster. At the top, write your income, every bit of money that came in that month. Salary, side income, refunds, gifts, whatever it is. Add it all up. Below that, write your fixed expenses. These are the things that stay more or less the same every month and are necessary for your life to function. Rent or mortgage, bills, insurance, phone, transportation, healthcare, minimum debt payments. These are your essential costs. Below that, write your variable expenses. These change every month. Groceries, restaurants, entertainment, subscriptions, travel. Anything that isn't a fixed obligation. Add up all your expenses. Subtract them from your income. The number at the bottom is your net profit. What's left after everything, that's it. Income at the top, fixed expenses, variable expenses, and the final result at the bottom. After 2 or 3 months, you start seeing things you never noticed before. You clearly see how much you spend in each category. You notice where money is leaking. You understand whether you're actually saving or quietly consuming. That awareness naturally changes you, because now you see what's really going on. Research shows this too. When people know what they're doing, they start making better decisions over time. You don't even have to force yourself. Once you see the truth, your behavior shifts on its own. This monthly system makes life easier. You're not logging every expense in real time. You just sit down once a month, look at your statements, and see where everything went. Daily tracking drains you and creates constant guilt. Monthly review is just one moment of facing reality. The key here is learning to look at your spending without judging yourself, because you will see things you don't like. Forgotten subscriptions, pointless purchases. That's normal. The goal is not to take it personally. Don't label numbers as good or bad. See them as information. I spent $500 on cafes this month. That doesn't make you a bad person. It's just data. You can change it if you want, or keep it as is. But at least you know. Over time, this mindset becomes natural. At first it might feel uncomfortable, but then it fades. Shame and frustration decrease. You replace them with calm observation and small adjustments. People who are good with money think this way. They don't avoid it. They don't make excuses. They look at reality and act accordingly. And this isn't something you're born with. It's something you learn. If you add a simple weekly check, the system becomes even stronger. It takes about 10 minutes. Pick a day, like Sunday morning. Look at your balances, check upcoming expenses, quickly scan recent transactions. That's it. No deep work, just awareness. This way you stay connected without feeling overwhelmed. You always know where you stand, and if something goes wrong, you catch it early. At the end of the month, it's simple. Are you positive or negative? If positive, great. You're building something. If negative, at least you're seeing the truth. If you're positive, the next question is, where does the extra money go? Keep it simple. First, build an emergency fund. Then, pay off high-interest debt. Then, invest for the long term. Then, focus on other goals. This way, the money flows automatically without overthinking. If you're negative, it's also simple. There are only 2 options: spend less or earn more. No third option. Start with flexible expenses like food, entertainment, subscriptions. If that's not enough, look at bigger costs like rent. On the income side, think about raises, job changes, or additional income. This table shows you exactly where to start. To make the system smoother, automate payments if possible. Use high-yield savings accounts. Keep a small buffer in your account, separate accounts for different goals. Also, every 3 months, take a step back and review everything. What's increasing? What's decreasing? Are you actually progressing? You'll notice patterns you can't see monthly. At the end of the day, this is mostly psychological. Daily tracking overwhelms people, so they quit. This system is lighter. You don't feel restricted. You feel in control. Over time, you even get curious to see how the month went. And the most important part, know why you're doing this. The goal isn't budgeting. The goal is building the life you actually want: security, freedom, experiences, whatever matters to you. Once that's clear, managing money becomes meaningful. Most people never build a system for their money, but it doesn't have to be complicated. Pick a day this week. Set aside 30 minutes. Open your statements and really look at them, because your money tells the story of your life, and it's time to start reading it.